said it's a big day?
All right. Let me put you down for a second. Finish my coffee. What up? How was your wonderful Sunday?
I kicked my butt in the gym.
Look at you.
I'm hurting very much. But other than that, the day took a very different turn than expected for sure. So
Happened?
we figured out that the cooler that we keep ice in during hurricanes, the drain was leaking on the outside of the drain plug. So it leaked about a gallon of water into the crevice underneath the baseboard and sheetrock underneath the window. And so I ripped the baseboard out yesterday and went and got some floor dryers, and so
Sounds like fun.
but everything I've looked at and everything I've read and talked to people, they say it should be fine and I don't need to rip out all the drywall there. So
No, dude, that's the last thing you fucking need. Another goddamn leak.
well, it's because my wife pointed out that the baseboard was pulling away from the wall. It was like the first day that I was back at work after the storm. And so I was like, all right, I'll take care of it when I get home. But those days were longer than hell. And honestly, I just forgot about it. And then I was editing yesterday and I was like, I'm going to have a beer. And I was like, well, there's still beer in the hurricane cooler. And I opened it up and all the water was gone that was in there. And I knew that there was at least a gallon of water in the bottom of it. And I was just like, crap. So apparently good things do happen from drinking beer from time to time. So I'm sure enough moved the entryway table and there's a puddle and I was just like, well, start work.
Ouch.
Happy Sunday, right? Sunday fun day. Woo-hoo! But that was yesterday, and then I edited the 5-MeO DMT episode, and I slept a lot.
That's good. I didn't sleep at all.
I fell asleep at right 5 o'clock, and I just got back up.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Look, I got chills just thinking about it. I couldn't sleep for 12 hours, dude. Wow. That's a beautiful reset.
Apparently, it was necessary. I was just out,
Oh,
deep REM, freaking sweating. I don't know. How was your day yesterday? Because you got roped into something.
I got roped into fucking yard work, and then I got a phone call to where. So last week I really didn't work, right? And I went to Naples, and I made up for it in 2 days. I made up. I don't know. I think it comes out to. I think I'm charging them 74, 72, a little bit over 70 hours worth of, right? And did that, send my invoice. And then I get a phone call. A buddy of mine calls me. He goes, Nest, what are you doing? I'm like, why? Well, he called me last week and I said, I'm busy. I'm in Naples. He goes, I need you. What are you doing? What's going on? He goes, I need you to move my hangar. I'm like, I'm not a moving company, dude. And then he told me how much he's willing to pay. And I was like, why are you willing to pay that much? He goes, well, first of all, I've called 4 or 5 companies and I'm offering you less than what they're charging me. And I said, all right, well, I understand. I said, it's a decent amount of money for a moving job. How many friends call you and say, hey, I'll give you $2,500 to help me move?
No.
None. Right. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what, let me figure this out. So I thought I had to go back to Naples today or leave again yesterday. So I was like, I can't take this job. And I want that $2,000. I don't care about anything else. I want that $2,000. I could use it right now. So I'm like, all right, let me figure this out. So then I told Dahlia, I got to go look at this job. I said, do you want it? And she goes, done. All right. So I went with Dahlia, took Nelson. We went to go look, and he has a hangar in Boca Raton. So I went to go to his hangar, little cage, and it's an office space. I got to move to 3 desks, no big deal. And then everything else, though, it is a pain in the dick job. It is. But here's the best thing about it. I'm getting a whole bunch of equipment that he's like, I have no use for all that stuff. Figure it out. Dude, I'm getting floor jacks. I'm getting fucking fire lockers. You know what I mean? Shit that's worth money.
Yeah, the fire lockers are expensive alone.
You know what I mean? Fireproof fucking fire cabinets and shit. You know what I mean? Wait a moment. So I said, what are you doing all? He goes, I don't need it. I said, and he goes, you see all those parts? We don't have that airplane anymore. So do whatever you want with them. That already has a home. And I'm glad that my wife went with me because I'm looking at where am I going to shove all this shit, dude? And then she comes up and she goes, can I sell it? And sell everything except the jacks. And she's like, put it in the garage. I'll get rid of it. I'm like, cool. Done.
Same.
How much are those things? Two grand.
300, and then 1,200, 2,000.
Yeah, those are worth money, dude. So he has no root, he's keeping some, he's getting rid of some other ones. But even just look at Tron Air 10,000 pound jacks, for example. They're going to be like $4,000 or $5,000 a piece. Well, not this. I think these are like $3,000, maybe more.
The tripod jack?
Yeah, tripod jacks.
Yeah, they're way more.
I know. Listen, I know. Dude, I'm getting a whole set of big and small here.
This is a 10-ton Tron Air jack. That's $17,900.
That's not here. Look at this picture. I just sent you a picture.
That's so crazy.
So there's 3 big ones and then there's 3 small ones. That's 2 sets, dude. Now with that, I can't lift a fucking one of those monster airplanes. But I can lift a fucking Learjet or, you know what I mean? I can lift some decent things.
There's not one of these things that's under $10,000 for the air.
Oh, no, they're not, dude. Those things are
crazy.
Now, there's a ton of them in the used market, of course. But still, though, it's $5,000 for a set, easily. That doesn't matter how beat up they are. I wonder how that's. Let me go.
Usually when your camera turns off when you're doing something, I end up losing you. It means you're messing around. You didn't lose them this time. Nice. But you are muted, so you're probably talking to yourself right now.
Oh, I was talking. Yo, so back. I got to do something, dude. My back is killing me. I hugged Nelson yesterday and I said, I need you to squeeze me. And he fucking squeezed me, cracked my back. I got to go to a chiropractor. I got to do something. I need to be stretched. Yoga. And
I go to the chiropractor every week, except for the past 2 weeks. What's the issue today? It was like maintenance. And she's like, you only do that come in here on a weekly basis for maintenance. I was like, because I know what it's like when it's not maintained. You go through and you run and lift every freaking day for a couple of years and you'll find out real fast that everything starts to hurt and it doesn't correct itself at all. So I didn't realize I had an issue until I started stretching. And I was like, oh my gosh, I barely touched my toes. What? Oh, let me roll over. Oh my God. And so I used to do it out back for one of my outdoors. I do yoga. And you could hear me in the middle of the night in the backyard, like, 1 o'clock in the morning, just groaning in pain because it had been so long. I hadn't stretched since college. And that was like a little, 10 minutes before practice. And that was it. Like there was never really an extensive stretching. And now it's like I stretch for hours on certain days.
I think it's extremely important. We're not really taught how to do shit anyway. Everybody is winging it through life, teaching others how to wing it.
No kidding. Because there's just science to just about everything, but nobody knows it. Unless
No, but the whole stretching thing,
for it.
That whole stretching thing, I have noticed a little bit of. I saw a video of two older men. It said 2 men in their 80s. Who knows? But they were older and they were joking on each other, and then they started running and bet a race. And I'm looking at these motherfuckers run, and I'm like, God damn it, I run like that. Listen, I know I tore something, not recently, but here's a story for you. I can't throw a bucket like a baseball anymore. I throw like a girl. I tore something up here. I don't know what it is. I can't. I really like that whole movement of just. So I started practicing with my left hand, and the reason I tore it was because we used to go. Sebastian and I, there on the intercoastal here, there was a little park that had a lot of over trees growing into the intercoastal, into one of the side channels. And of course, all the houses in there. This park had a tree, dude, that you could climb up 20 meters in the air, 30 meters in the air. That shit was high. 30 is probably too much. I'd say maybe 25.
That's 20, high as
20. I'd say at least 20 meters. I've done 10-meter platforms before. I used to dive. I've done 10-meter platforms. This was much higher than a 10.
10-meter platforms high for normal standards. 20 is highest.
That shit was fucking. Try climbing up on a big ass oak tree, right? Climb up on that fucking thing.
You see, look at the color of my skin. I am not climbing anybody's tree unless it's no. And I do a lot of dumb shit. And that's just not one of the things.
You do run though. I'll give you that one.
There's just not gonna. Well, all right. I'll climb a rope, go touch the ceiling, climb back down.
Climb in a tree.
Why?
To jump off.
Right there. That's white people shit. Don't do that. No.
So my son Sebastian was about 8 years old, and 8 or 9 years old. This is what kind of dad I was. I'm actually pretty proud of this one now. So it was 8 or 9 years old, and we're at this park, and we find we find a rope swing, right? So we find a rope swing, and we're like, oh, cool. So we go to the rope swing, and we start playing with a rope swing, and then we're like, you know what? Let's make it better. Thank you. So,
bless you.
Sorry, thank you. So in order to make it better, we put wood, and we made a ladder staircase for it, and we made it higher. We put a nice, stronger wood to hold yourself with. Anyway, we did that. Oh, fuck. Sorry. So we kept hearing some commotion further down the intercoastal. We went over there. Fuck. There must have been about 30 kids playing on this goddamn tree, dude. And they're climbing up. They look like spider monkeys. Up. They'd climb up. And you got to remember, I mean, the average age was maybe 11 years old. And you got my fucking hunky ass. I was mid-30s back then. And everything started leaking now. Sorry. So Sebastian's like, I really want to jump off that tree. Can I go? And I'm looking at these kids, and they're pretty high up. And I'm like, you know what? Let me get up there first. Let me see how it is. And then goes. He goes, cool. I climb up this motherfucker. And I get to a point, and I get stuck. I get so stuck that I am only about 15 feet away from the edge of the tree limb, but I need to climb up more, a little bit more. And I'm holding on to it like this, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, if I move, I'm going to fall, and I'm going to die. I started to get a little scared. My butt puckered up really nicely at that point. Why are you laughing, dude? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You squeeze them ass cheeks. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
I'm tight. I'm going on. I'm going to be honest, dude. I was scared. I got scared. And I'm like, hey, I need you one of the, and I just needed to reach up maybe 2 feet and I can grab a limb. And I just couldn't reach it, dude. And I was so scared between the pushing now and right. And I called one of these guys. I said, hey, one of you spider monkey guys, come up here. Fucking kid goes, whoop, whoop. He goes, what's up, man? He climbed up in a heartbeat. I said, how do I get from here to there? He goes, oh, like this. And he just got up, literally just stood up and no fear. Just, and I'm like, I said, oh. So I got up, no fear, unpuckered my ass and moved. I almost fell. No, as soon as I got up and I launched myself and I grabbed that thing, he goes, you got it. And I'm like, that wasn't,
well,
right? Whatever. It was one of those things. And I finally got up. And now I'm at the very end and I'm holding on to another limb up here and I'm at the edge and I'm like, cool. So now I got to jump. And I'm like, Nestor, you can't climb down. There is no climbing down. So I said, fuck it, go. And I just jumped. And I fucking, landed, boom. I landed like this. I'm stupid. I landed like this. It was so high up. This was purple, by the way. That's how far I up. When we landed, this was under the purple. I got out. I told Sebastian, I was like, Papi, I think you could do this, but I'm not going to let you. Not yet. I don't think he was 10 years old. I don't think he was 10. He was still a little kid. And I'm like, I'm not going to let you. So I didn't let him. I said, let's go back to the rope swing. So in the rope swing, dude, I used to be a little fucking tumbler and shit. And I used to grab the rope swing. I'd do double backflips and shit off of it and do a whole bunch of stuff. And I used to have fun with Sebastian with doing that stuff. And one of those, because we started playing over there more and we fixed that rope swing, he was climbing out. And then this little motherfucker, the tree branch breaks. Ooh. So he's holding on for dear life like this. and I'm on the branch up top, and I'm like, holy shit! And I reached down and I grabbed him and I pulled him up. I think he must have weighed 120 pounds.
At 10?
He was a big boy.
That's a big fucking 10-year-old.
Oh, Sebastian used to be a little fat fucker. He was a husky kid.
Oh, man. You took me back to freaking one of those leadership retreats. I had to find the photos of the foolery that they were trying to get me to do it, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Dude. So I had to look it up, and I was like, I'm not doing it, bro. That guy right there.
There's not a lot of things that I won't do.
No, here's the deal. And so, while I tell you this, so I didn't do it. And then there's only a couple other people that didn't do it. And there's a bunch of women that did it. There's fat guys that did it. And I know one of the women that did it. So this was in December of 2022. She's still going to the chiropractor to this day because of the decision to do this jump. And the other one broke her coccyx, which is her tailbone.
I know exactly what that is.
Because she landed wrong. And then they were just talking. There was one of the guys that he's calling me a chicken. I was like, dude, that doesn't make me a chicken because I'm not going to jump out of this freaking tree. It's just not going to happen. How did I know I shared this last time. I know it. I'll just join the meeting. That's what I'll do. Join Mindshift. That's pretty cool. I like that we can actually do cool stuff like this.
That was fun. Thank you.
All right. Does that work now?
They're better. No echo.
Well, because usually disconnect audio. Usually it will allow you to, what's it called? Not connect automatically, and it just legit connected automatically. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. So,
cool.
Freaking this photo right here. I'm going to show you the tree. And it's like, you need to climb up there and jump out of this tree. All right, cool. So that's probably not going to happen, but, well, we'll see. And so I started climbing up it, and I got to where the rope swing was. And I was like, yeah, this is where we stop. So if you look up at the branch, of course, my freaking face is in front of it. So this branch right here at the top, that's where they were climbing up and jumping off of.
Wait, that little Y in the center?
So where the Y is, and then you just go out to the right and keep on. So that little twig.
Oh, I see the rope.
Yeah, the rope is where I swung from, and they were climbing out to the top of where the rope was connected and jumping off of that.
Yep.
And so I see.
You can't get up there. How do you get up there?
So there's freaking.
Oh, I see. Well, that's just the ropes. Hold on.
So they were literally climbing up the top of that to where the Y is and jumping off the top. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I look at I do a lot of stupid shit, dude, but I do it based on the fact of gonna die. That looks like fun, dude. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Nah, that's a lot of people did do it. A lot of people got hurt. And that's like, all right.
If you don't swing out, you'll fall here. It's a little shallower where the rope is. That's where she probably broke her coccyx. I did that once. I climbed to the top of a fucking branch one time, a rope swing, and I don't know what happened. I was like, oh, fuck, I'll just let go. And I let go. And I remembered on the way down, when I'm splashing in the water going, oh, that's right. I'm in shallow water. That wasn't fun.
That spot right there where it was deep blue, that was, I think they said it was 110 feet deep. It's a natural spring.
Nice.
And so it goes straight down into the aquifer from there. That's why the water's so blue. It was freaking cold water.
Cold as fuck.
And she broke her coccyx from the way she landed on the water because she landed in a seated position. That's how high up she was. The picture just doesn't do it justice. It's high. And the other one compressed her spine and legit has been going to the chiropractor for years as a result of that decision. And that next day after that, I went and ran the Spartan race. Let's think about this. Let me go jump out of this tree and go waste this couple $100 that I paid to go run this race. And no. And he's like, you're a chicken. I was like, how about you meet me tomorrow down in the Central Florida and you can come run with me and tell me I'm a chicken. How about that? You can even come to the gym. Let's put a mouthpiece and some gloves on. It's just
mouthpiece.
Go ahead and put it in your mouthpiece, bro. Like, Jesus Christ.
You said a mouthpiece.
What the, oh, you didn't? Did Chinosky ever tell you that story where he?
I didn't hang out with that guy as much as people think I did.
No, oh, he was like you were his buddy according to him. But I was inviting for an opening, a grand opening, and he was like, if you get so many people, I'll let you punch me in the face. And so I had a mouthpiece delivered to his house. So
I love it.
yeah. So when he pissed me off, he used to always joke. He's like, "I'm gonna need my mouthpiece when you get close."
No, I met him through Anthony. Anthony's my
Yeah,
boy. I've known it.
I like that dude a
Dude,
lot.
that whole family is fucking beautiful, man. Anthony and I, we go back 2001, dude. That's when we met. 2002, something like that. We've been friends for a while. I remember
He's got a personality like Brad Lee, just a smooth, cool OG.
he's a good looking, it's a beautiful family, dude. He's a good looking cat. His wife's fucking gorgeous. His kids are fucking great kids. They're beautiful hearts. Are great fucking people, dude.
Yeah.
Great family environment, family values. I am just literally, if he ever calls me, whenever he calls me his friend, I'm honored. It's just like that. That's a really beautiful family. I would have nothing ever to. We've been through some stuff together. He's always been there. Even though we don't talk as much as we do, we know we're cool. You know what I mean? It's just one of those that we keep tabs on each other, make sure we're all right. But, you know,
every time I'll reach out to him, and it's like catching up with an old friend that I haven't talked to in years, and it'll be like a couple months, and it's like that. It's like having had a really good childhood friend. Hey man, and download what's going on, and then it's back to life. But freaking just when you think of great human beings, it's freaking standard. They're just great people. I like being around them, and I've only been around Carrie once.
Dude, my wife's been grooming their dogs since forever. We have pictures. The very first time that Dolly and I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, our very first apartment by ourselves, Anthony showed up one time. He's like, hey, man, he had 2 schnauzers. I remember. I don't remember their names, though. And blues and jazz. That's blues and jazz. Blues and jazz. That's what their dogs do. And he brought him over. I remember to our apartment. We had a 1-bedroom, one bath apartment, and my wife groomed the dogs in the apartment. And he came midnight, dude, 1:00 in the morning. It was late to go pick up these dogs. Now this is the time of in my life when Dolly and I we would save every day for a 12-pack of Coors Light and a pack of cigarettes. And we would just talk and drink 12-pack. And me and her would smoke cigarettes. We would just talk. That was almost a daily thing, just me and her. Right. So it was funny that day, we drank our 12-pack. Anthony's coming over. Dude, it's fucking 1:00 in the morning. Anthony shows up banging on our door. He's lit. He's happy. Hey, man. I was on my way home and I forgot that I left the dogs here. Oh, dude, your dogs have been here since 10 a.m. He's like, my bad. I'm sorry. You're cool. And that's when we fell in love with each other, dude. I fell in love with the guy, dude. The same thing with Dolly. Then I got introduced to Carrie. Carrie, I've met first, and then my wife met her. Our kids, his son Logan, his oldest, the rugby player.
He's a freaking savage,
dude. He doesn't like to lose. His drive is so immense. He had to be number 1 in school, got good grades. He would punish himself. He started working out. A fucking diesel. Now I got videos of my boy and his boy fucking because he went into MMA first. He joined Logan joined ATT, America's Top Team, first. And then that was a time in my life that I had no money. And I still managed to swing 112, 120, 150 bucks for Sebastian to go to school. Oh, that one was tough. But Sebastian and Logan are all there rolling. Sebastian stuck with it for a little longer than Logan did. But those two boys, they got some really cool wrestling videos when they were kids, of course. Now as an adult, dude, I'm sure fucking Logan is much stronger than Sebastian. Logan's a beast.
He just played in the Olympics.
Dude, he's Team America for a reason.
It's like,
hello, he's Team America for a reason. And Anthony and I, the whole idea with the agencies and everything like that, Anthony and I, we both fucking thought about it for our kids. I know Logan ended up getting his license.
he was on a couple of the training appointments.
Supposedly they had, I don't know how that's going for them, but you're very beautiful. Their friendship means a lot. It really does.
You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. Like the most random thought. I was thinking about people that roll and rugby players. And there's this guy named Tannell, freaking awesome dude. He's 6'2", always smiling, always joking, really deep eye contact. You see a guy has zero fear. And somebody did something one day and he like snapped a little bit and he went back to he's just like a twitch. And you can see it was like running through his head. This motherfucker really did that. And then he smiled again and started laughing. And I was just like, and I pulled him aside. I just don't understand. He's like, what are you talking about? Just don't mess with the dude with cauliflower ears. And he just started laughing. He was like, you caught that, huh? Most people, you don't have it bad, but you got to know.
But you got it.
And he was like, and he starts laughing. He was like, I was around the block a few times. And he's a big freaking dude. He used to play rugby in college. And he used to wrestle. I was like, no.
Oh, my God.
Nope.
Don't tell my son. But I won't roll with him.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, if I have I'll roll with Seb. But honestly, roll with Seb, I have to stick to brute force. He has his technique. He is probably stronger than me right now. He does work out every day. He's probably getting up now, go to the gym. He gets up. Yeah, he goes to the gym around 6 o'clock every day. And so I know he's strong, but I got to stick with brute force. I have to stick with the only thing that I have going for me and him is I'm dad. He won't. The same thing with me. I mean, whenever I was horsing around with my dad, I didn't want to go too hard because I didn't know. You know what I mean? Because many times rolling with my dad or playing around with my dad, there's times that when I was growing up, I would horse around and it would be okay. And then I would horse around and then I would be not okay. Or I would do certain things. It was different with my dad. Sometimes he would be in a good mood, sometimes not. I just didn't know. Or if I did something that it was okay yesterday, but today is not okay, I didn't know why. You know what I mean? The explanations weren't there. If he was in the mood, that was great. It was one of those things. But with me, it's different because I'll do whatever. He's not.
You didn't know what version you were going to get that day.
Because I remember, great example. Every person has a reset button. Did you know that? We all have a reset button. If somebody fucking passes out and you need to know how bad they are, stick a finger in their ass.
Well, there's no scenario where that's going to end well.
They'll fucking go, what are you doing? Oh, you're okay. Good. I don't know. That was a joke, right? So
with you sometimes.
No, but the reason I said that is because I remember with my dad, like I played dead one time. I played dead. He squeezed me and I played dead. And he reset me. He goes, so I did it to him the next day. He didn't like it. So that's what I learned. I was like, how come you can do certain things that I can't do? And so Sebastian is different. Sebastian can do whatever the fuck. Go through whatever and hanging out with that boy is fun. No?
I don't. If I did, I don't remember. My dad's like 6'2". He was probably 255 when I was a kid. He's a big dude. He's a pretty big dude.
Boy. Because you're what? What are you, 5'10"?
5'9", $190, $185.
We're the same size.
I might be a little lighter right now. I've been slacking on the leg days. I haven't been hitting the squat rack as hard as I used to. So it keeps me from having to go through that period of just being, I'm good as long as I don't try to squat more than probably 395 on my workouts. If I start going up over 395, the hip starts going out of alignment. It's just a pain in the dick, honestly.
Speaking of hips out of alignment, is there anything I can do? I feel like I'm out. My hip is fucked.
Dude, that's why I go to the chiropractor every freaking week, because it creeps. But it's like the joint, it's good enough to where I can go in there and get reset, and I'll be like, check my hips. Because I was going there for a while. And then there was Dr. Margaret randomly showed up there one day, and she was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. It feels off. and my hips were like this. And it's from squatting heavy, leg pressing heavy, deadlifting heavy, and then going out there. And that's when I was running. I was on the elliptical for probably 5 to 7 miles a day. And on the weekends, I would run a 10K. And it was just wearing it out, apparently. But she figured it out. And then now everybody checks my hips and they reset them for me every time I go in there. So it just took a little while for me to actually have, I didn't even know that could happen without an injury. So like a really strong core. So I wouldn't expect there to be an issue with my hips if there wasn't an issue with my back. But that's where all the pain was coming from. I was having my right foot would go numb around mile 5 or 6. And it was just like a pinched nerve because it was out of alignment and it sucked. It was like, I couldn't feel my toes for like 3 months. When I got to that point, it was just like every time you get to that same point, those right toes would go numb. And I was just like, what is the deal? I was like, why is it at that distance? It just doesn't make sense. And it was every freaking day. And that lady figured it out. Go to a chiropractor. They have one of their packages that I use. It's $5 a month. And you get 4 adjustments a month. So you can maintain once a week. They have different packages that are a little more than that if you need to go more than that. But I think
that's awesome. I'll do that in a heartbeat.
Legit it's worth it.
$100? Fuck yeah.
I need to go there. Actually, I'm gonna run in there today when I get off work because I missed because of the storm. And then yesterday I was gonna go and I missed because I ran out and got the fans and stuff like that. So I need to get in there.
I used to hang out with a guy. This is part of my old self. When I used to own the real estate offices and the mortgage offices, I used to hang out with an attorney, a doctor, and a chiropractor. We all had a little side business going. That chiropractor is probably one of the best chiropractors I've ever been to. I still know where he is, but I've been to other chiropractors and I'm like, this guy really fucking put a number on me. And it was always amazing. But I know where he is. I just don't want to go back to him or even because I don't want to go. I'm not going back to that lifestyle. Of course not. But I'm also like everybody there. I've learned one thing, dude. In order to change who you were, you can make that person disappear. It just takes time. You can make that person disappear. Because I did the math the other day. So I've been with my wife now for 27 years, right?
Okay.
So out of the 27 years, like I said, it's been 25 years of her trying to mold me into the person I am today, right? Well, great. In her mind, she's like, hey, dude, I've lost more than half my life with you and you're a fucking dick, whatever it may be. She didn't say that. I'm just saying, whatever. And so instead of we sat down one day and I said, hey, we can look at all the positives and we can look at all the negatives. So my 27 years would probably be all happy and joy and this and that. And it can't be all that bad. Sure, there were some bad moments, but it was mostly good. While you were like, hey, this year sucked because of this, you're focusing on the 25% that was bad or that 15% that was bad, and you're making everything else. So I told her I said, you can make yourself disappear. How? By making sure that every single day I focus on my positive attributes to my positive self today. Through time, she will come back and go, oh, we had some bad times, but I can't remember them. You know what I mean? You can make those memories really fade away through time. So I told her that's the one thing that we work on the most is to make sure that person. So those events, those lives, all that shit, yes, it happened, but it's in the past. It's history. It's gone. There's no need to reconnect. I guess you could say it that way. So even though we'll be on Facebook or whatever, hey, how are you? Good to see you. But I got to find a good chiropractor. That's where I was going at. I got to find something because, I don't know, I guess we're all creatures of habits too. We know what we like. We know how to do it. But just trying to find that replacement. Sometimes
that's hard.
If you don't, I guess it doesn't hurt enough to find it, right? I guess you could say it that way.
Because that's one of the best motivators is freaking pain. It doesn't hurt bad enough. Yeah, they just won't won't do anything different. No. So that story with the dog that was laying on the porch groaning, And somebody came up with it. What's wrong with the dog? He's laying on an L. I guess
It doesn't
yeah,
hurt bad enough.
you got a few of them over there in your neck of the woods. So get you in and out.
I'm gonna have to take a look. I like that whole monthly subscription plan, though. I like that one.
I'm not a fan personally of anybody trying to put me on a prescription, but it's a great business model because it's like a gym membership. A lot of people will get it and they won't use it. So that's what. Well, luckily my wife is really on that shit. She's like, you need to go this week and make sure you use them all because if I do try to do 2 of them in 1 week, it makes things too loose. So it has to be once a week. And she's like, don't waste our money. I'm like, all right. So it's good though. It's really good. Oh, freaking. So I always look at my interactions with others and figure out whether or not I failed them. So I had to call customer service yesterday with Hulu. Hulu's the streaming service that we were got canceled yesterday. Because, so here's the deal. So they have this thing for Hulu Live where it only allows you to use the IP address for your current location. So we have multiple internet services in this house. I have my buddy's T-Mobile because of the hurricane, and he was like, keep this just in case Verizon goes down. All right. And then we have Verizon, and Verizon will jump from location to location for which one ever has the best service. And so every time it changes, I have to call Hulu and have them unlock my account so I can watch live TV. And they're like, well, you need to call your internet service provider and tell them to give you a permanent IP address. I was like, I don't need to call them and do anything. It's like they're transferring me from tower to tower to give me the best possible service that I can pay for. I was like, so their service isn't the issue, yours is. And they're like, well, we'll reset it to where you have 4 more resets that you can do on your own. And then when you're past that, you're going to have to call us. So the power went out, or it kept on surging during the hurricane. And so it kept on going to different locations. And so I couldn't watch the live news on that service, which is kind of important when you got stuff like that going on. And I had to call them to reset it. And so I turned off the live streaming and just put it back to their library, which is like $8 a month instead of $95. And so I called them. I was like, you guys need to unlock this. You guys have to be paid up until October 30th. And they're like, well, since you moved it away from that service, I can't unlock it. And I was like, well, then you're going to refund my money. But it wasn't that nice of a tone. I can feel my wife looking at me when I'm like, come off the rails a little bit. Like I feel like the slow turn, like yeah, what it is. And then they're like, so would you consider reactivating that service? I was like, are you fucking serious right now? Oh, this guy's turned off my access to something that I pay you guys for in the middle of a freaking state of emergency because the IP address changed. Like, I didn't know that I could find the stuff on YouTube that I needed, then we'd have a serious issue right now. I was like, I'm not turning it on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell everybody not to use Hulu Live because that's the kind of person I am. I don't know. It's unless you're using Comcast, which their service sucks too. You have an IP address that's set, and I do not pay for Hulu Live, so we're probably going to go to YouTube streaming for now.
Roku.
I've been on Roku's live streaming. They don't kind of sucks. It's cheap.
Well, you know what? To each his own. It's true, right? So, like, very last TV I ever bought that was expensive was a Sony fucking 60-inch. I remember that I paid like for a long time ago, right? It was like a really good month of fucking real estate or mortgages, and I'm like, I'd splurge on a fucking big ass TV. You know, I'm going back 20 years, right? That fucking TV lasted 2 years and it broke, and I was pissed. Yeah, I was pissed. I had nothing. I couldn't do anything about it. It's just fucking. I was pissed because you spend that much money on a television. So, and then I said, well, I would never do that again. So I started looking at cheaper ones. You know, now that Roku came out with those fucking, what do you call those? Those Roku TVs?
Well, I mean, it's just you can get it on any TV now. It's before
I have
like a little stick.
Yeah, like a Prime stick. But I bought a TV with a Roku thing on it, and I was like, I'd rather have it because used to have either Google or Amazon Prime or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, I was like, hey, we should stick with Amazon because we have Alexas around the house, and I want to do that. So I tried to figure out what TV would connect better and this and that. And I was like, well, I already have a Roku TV. So I made every TV in the house a Roku TV.
Nice.
My backyard, they're all Rokus because that way I have the same channels. That way every TV in the house has the same channels, so the same thing. And I think Sebastian's is different. Gabby's is good. Mine, this one. I mean, they're all fucking Rokus. The only thing that I don't like about the Roku TV, as far as service, I have no complaints. I like having my channels all in one program. I guess you could say it that way, in an application. Because that way I have a device that I take with me on the road. It's my hotel device. And if the signal is a little weaker, it'll run off my fucking cell phone. And it is not bad. It's worked out tremendously for me. I had it, for example, in my van, I can have a little monitor I can just hook it up to. I can watch TV in my van. Shit like that if I don't want to watch the phone or the iPad, whatever. I like the Roku device. The one thing that I don't like about it is that, yes, it is in Chinese. And because they're so cheap, inexpensive. I bought a 75-inch TV for $500. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have a pretty large TV in our living room. And I'm using the Fire Sticks for a couple years now. And now I think about it, I know Amazon actually has live TV now, like Freevee. So the only thing I need is local channels. And like my day, you used to be able to just hook up an antenna to your TV and watch local
Not
channels.
anymore.
It just doesn't work here. No, apparently it's like that in Georgia. You can still watch your local television without paying somebody to do so, but I haven't found it.
Don't you have to have that special fucking converter for digital? Or
I don't know. Maybe I'll look into that because
I
we
think
have
there's
antennas and stuff in every room, but none of them work. They used to. Just one day they stopped working.
the rest of the world still uses radios. They still use walkie-talkies. They still use all this other shit. We here are so unprepared for any anti-internet day. Dude, if they close, they got to do is push one button,
Turn it all
turn off the internet, turn off all that shit. And the U.S. is fucked.
a very large portion of the U.S. is not all of us. So
no, not all of us, but yes, I'm still. Ooh, I hate this. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I was out in the garage, like with the little hand radio or the emergency radio in the garage.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that noise was. I was like, we can't like lose internet and all that stuff. We still need to be able to figure out what's going on. So regardless, I have like the things that I need to be able to, some of the things, getting more. But that whole thing with Hulu, it set me off so bad.
I haven't been a fan of Hulu. I remember when it first came out, whatever, 15 years ago. I tried them out for a little bit. Their streaming service, this is Netflix, and then Hulu came out right after. And then I was like, no, I went back to Netflix. I've never really been a fan of Hulu.
I like them for the simple fact that I can watch the current seasons before they come out on Netflix. So you can have access to stuff the day after it comes out. But if you have live, then you can watch live TV. You can watch it when it's happening. You can watch the news. That's really all I wanted. Like, I want to be able to know what's going on in my local community. It's really all I wanted. Like, most people should want to know what's going on in their local community, so I wanted my local channels. And that was the only way for me to get it, is if I paid those assholes $95 a month to do so. So, I was just like, yep. And I said, please, you can imagine the balls for somebody to ask you if you want to turn your service back on in the moment that you're telling you that they won't even give you what you've already paid for. Like, would you be interested in that? Like, even in America, like, what? Like, I already have an issue with that. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and end this right now. You have a great evening. And I know she was just like, this dude really told me to have a blessed evening after he just like got me for 5 minutes. I was like, I did, because Jesus loves you. I may not, so it's okay.
Jesus loves you.
Oh my goodness.
Says Jesus loves you. I don't like it. But Jesus loves you.
It's okay. I'm not perfect. I understand. All right. I got roll.
Yeah, me too.
Did you run yesterday? I know the answer. I know. So you can start calling me out more.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm waiting
I was
for
going
it.
to text you yesterday and I fell asleep. I was like, where's my fucking picture, you fucking asshole? But then I fell asleep. Like,
No, it's cool. I was expecting it too. And then I
yeah.
lied to you. All day I was like, fuck, I gotta run. This is the exact honest truth. After we finally got home last night, because we went to both hangars and we saw the offices exactly where we're gonna do this thing. And because I'm not really gonna be, I'm making her in charge, right? Because she's not
Yeah.
doing dogs anymore, so I got to figure out another income stream for her to help me out. You don't want to move anything. You know, she can't move anything, but I will work for her or whatever. She's running the show. You know what I mean?
No.
She's going to be running the move. I'm picking up her blind brother. I'm picking up Franco, Nelson. It'll be us three. And then I may grab another guy, Michael, to give me a hand. But for now, I think we're okay. Like there's three big guys. Should be able to do it. We got 2 days to do it.
Nice.
He gave me the U-Haul truck. Like he rented the U-Haul truck. I can prepaid for the mileage. Yeah, let's just So
You enjoy that.
I'm gonna go enjoy that. I have to run. So I was telling that we were eating at dinner, and I told her, I was like, I have to run, and she goes, "You can't run. You just ate." And I'm like, "I'll wait half an hour to 45 minutes, and then I have to run." She goes, "Okay." What happened?
Yeah. Well, I
That's
get
the
it.
truth. But
That's why you gotta do it first thing.
The day takes over. All right, brother. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.
All right.